Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It's not posting the live. So anybody that's been here and clicked off, I don't blame you, but it there's always a problem with my live. So hopefully hopefully I'm there. I don't know. I still have not figured this out yet. But I'm getting a weird message from YouTube, which I've gone live like plenty of times at this point. So I know I have access to it. But what I tried to do is leave StreamYard, which is the app that I use to do this. I'm live on StreamYard right now, but on YouTube, it might be a different story. So let me try posting. Anyone out there? Okay. Well, I mean, the comment went before I was getting an error. I tried to comment, and I don't know if maybe it has something to do with the members only part of it. Hey, I'm so happy somebody else is here with me. I, uh, yeah, I don't know what's good. Every time I try and go live, there's always some glitch, and it's because I leave it to the last minute. It's just the way I am. Can you hear me okay? Because that's usually the issue I have is sound. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah. I have yet to crack the YouTube good. I have yet to crack the YouTube live situation. And if anybody has suggestions for other streaming, I know a lot of people use like um, OBS, I think it is. I've never used that. I've always used StreamYard, which is easy to use and I like it. But sometimes I think I'm sacrificing, I don't know. It can seem really wonky. A lot of people swear by OBS, I think. Yeah. So I had no topic list tonight. I was kind of just going to shoot from the hip. Um, because again, I had scheduled this as a members only live, but I ran into issues. So I'm going to have to figure that out on the back end. But yeah, so I didn't schedule any topics or anything. So any questions, you know, just kind of let them rip. Maybe Coco will make an appearance. And if anybody's watching, if they have any ideas about the live situation, um, let me know. Chime in because I don't like going live directly from YouTube. I like to be able to add my own banners and all that other stuff. But all right. So how's everybody doing out there tonight? How's the week been going? Any any good stories? It's so windy right now here. I live in New Jersey, and I think we're going to be getting more snow. I'm pretty sure, and the wind has started kicking up. And in some of my older videos, I talk. There are a few videos where the wind is so incredibly strong. It's gusting out there. I live on a lake, so Lake Mohawk is about a mile down that way. I can see it from my deck. And the wind that kicks up off of Lake Mohawk it's otherworldly. It doesn't even sound like it's scary. It's scary sometimes. And then behind me, also off my deck, is this massive tree, just huge. And when the wind kicks up, the branches hang over my part of my roof. And it's also scary because one good gust of wind, and I feel that that tree would just cut the house in half. Um, there it goes again. It's picking up. So what else is exciting? Exciting in my world is I got the new iPhone today. And I don't know. I mean, I went from the iPhone 13 to the iPhone 16 Pro. And one thing I did not know. So I am a TikTok addict. And I did not know that if you had it on your own phone after the ban and all that ridiculous BS, um, I went to put everything on my new phone and thought everything was transferred. And I just went to check the app and it's gone. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I have to download it. I go into the app store and I look for TikTok and there's this notice that comes up saying it's not available to re-download. If you had it on your other phone, that's fine. We're leaving it, but you can't upload it to a new phone. I know there are ways around this. Um, I tried one of them. Somebody said something about, downloading a VPN. I don't know. I see I'm getting questions. Hey there, my educational background is in schooling. So I started right out of, well, I took a year off from after I graduated high school. And then I just kind of did general, kind of looking to see what I wanted to do. And nursing was always kind of in the background for me. And I had always gravitated towards that. But I I was almost trying. I was daring the universe to show me something else that I might want to do because I had always kind of been slotted into going to medical school or nursing school. So I just took a year and kind of messed around and took courses like astronomy. And let me tell you, never do that unless you're really good at math. Because on the first day of class, the professor looked at us and he was like, I know a lot of you are probably in here thinking that this is a bullshit class that is going to be easy and you have credits to fill. He's like, but I am, sorry to tell you that this is probably going to be one of the hardest classes you take. And he was right. But anyway, so I took all those kinds of classes, creative writing. And then out of the blue, my one of my best friends, Gretchen, just happened to call me and she was going through the same thing, but she had graduated a year before me. She called me and she was like, I'm kind of floundering. Do you just want to go to nursing school with me? And I was like, yep, let's do it. So we enrolled in Muhlenberg, and that's where we went. And you know, it was it was a great time. It was hard. I had started so the program at Muhlenberg was a 2-year program. So initially I graduated with my associates and then I worked with my associates for probably 10 years or so. And I just didn't see the need to go back because, the bachelor's is more theory and management. And at that point in my career, I didn't see the need for it. But as I started getting older and wanting being in the field for long enough that I it was logical to move into management, I needed the bachelor's. So I went back to school, um, and got the bachelor's, and I did it from home. But the whole time I was working. I think at the point that I started my bachelor's, I was working for Amgen Pharmaceuticals, and I just did it that way. But yeah, I don't have a master's. I have the bachelor's. I have probably 3 classes left to do my master's, and I don't think I'm ever gonna do it. It's just not worth it for me. Okay, so let's see. Do you think it's possible over time to heal the nerve damage? It depends on what the nerve damage is from. That is it's a simplified question, but the answer has so many uh, twists and turns to it. If you know what's causing nerve damage, then depending on what that is, yes, it is possible to heal. Small fiber neuropathy, possible to regenerate nerves. Um, Even CIDP, it's more halting it in its tracks and not continuing to progress. That's the key. But nerves do have the ability to repair. So yes, I happen to have diabetes. Uh, I with all of the home treatments that I do, my nerves have absolutely healed and repaired themselves. It's not the case for everyone, but yeah, you can certainly heal from your neuropathy. Take your old phone, save the app, and load it. And transfer it to the TF card with give permission. Okay. Thank you. That's amazing. Because what do? You go and you look at on YouTube, and there was a guy that said something about download TikTok or something. I don't know what the heck it was. But you download that, and then it makes you download 2 other apps to verify something, and I, you know, it just made me nervous. I was kind of like, oh my God, what the heck am I downloading on my phone? One of them was like a game, and then the other was asking me if I wanted like a PayPal credit card or say I don't know, but it didn't work, and I deleted it immediately. But I am going to try that. That makes sense. It's so annoying. I mean, like, why? Why are they doing that? Um, anyway, Kayla, I hope that answered your question. So I've been kind of just continuing on that path. I've done a lot of, the official schooling, and my degree was really just kind of um yeah, it didn't feel necessary, and it aggravates a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that still only have their associate's degree, and they've been turned down for a million jobs, even though they have way more experience than somebody that has a bachelor's in that particular area. So, I've heard talk about moving away from the whole degree based hiring, and, moving more towards an experience level. uh, who knows, if that's gonna work, but it makes sense because I have a lot of certifications. I was an MS certified nurse, which to this day is probably one of the hardest exams I've ever taken. I'm an infusion nationally certified nurse. What other certifications did I have? There was MS, there was infusion. Oh, I was a critical care certified nurse. So these are all separate certifications that are run by completely separate groups that are only focused on whatever specialty you're in. So operating room has one. That's your certified nurse operating room, CNOR. I had the CRNI, which is certified registered nurse infusion, uh, MS certified nurse. I said there, what other? There's ER, certified ER. There's a million of them. There's a million of them. Um, there's one for psych. I think there's even one for like data, clinical data with nursing. So you have a lot of those certifications, and to me, I think they speak more to somebody's abilities rather than, oh, they have a bachelor's but or a master's, but they don't have any additional certification in a particular uh, specialty. Agree. Experience usually is best. Sure, degrees are great, yeah, but if you don't put that, let's see. Here, I'm gonna start showing these comments because so many times I forget that I can actually put them up on screen and let everybody else see them as well. But if you don't put that knowledge to use, yeah, it's just a piece of paper. And right, I know a lot of people that have. I even know nurses that are technically they have their doctorate of nursing. Don't ask me how you write it, but they have a doctor of nursing and they've gone through all of that schooling, and a lot of them are just they're not practicing. It's more of a theory. They're doing a lot of research or book learning, but the hands-on stuff I feel beyond a bachelor's, you're looking at doing more research or management, which I just was never interested in. Definitely not interested in management. I'm more of a hands-on type nurse. So yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to see how the tides kind of go. Kayla, I emailed you back. I wanted to make sure that you saw it. Yeah, thank you. I'm still looking at your EMG. I just want to make sure that I have it right because, like I said, reading those things is, or your nerve conduction study, I should say, and get a little, hey, Tom, I was hoping you were going to pop in. Again, so many issues with this stupid live. I will eventually perfect it, but I was trying to do this as members only, but I don't know if that triggers something because we're building that, but I don't have a million people. So I don't know if that triggered something like I got a weird message saying able, I didn't have access to it. And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I do. But anyway, do you have a feeling of how things might change, Raf? I was wondering if that question was going to come up. So I'll admit, I have not. There's been a lot of talk in the background about RFK and what he's going after, and there's been a lot of misunderstanding. I can't really say I know much about what his policies are. It wasn't something that concerned me at the time because I kind of felt like, you know, all of it was bad. The current administrator or the last administration, it was bad. I didn't know what was going to happen, and I didn't really pay attention to that part of it in particular. So, do you have specific issues that you're concerned with him? I know that um, I had a patient who had a young child that was going to be infusing IVIG, and the mom called me absolutely frantic right before the election. Like I want to say a couple of days before the official election, and she began asking me all of these questions about, uh, can I get a year's supply of IVIG sent all at one time? And I thought that was odd, and I said, why would you want to do that? Because I can tell you that your insurance company is not going to pay for that. And her response was, well, if the new administration gets in and RFK gets elected, then he's not going to let anybody get their medication because he doesn't believe in it. And I knew that wasn't true, but I'm embarrassed to say, like, I don't know the extent of, I knew that wasn't true, but I don't know really enough about all of his different policies. Okay. Okay. Do you have a feeling? Yeah. What does everybody else feel about RFK? I mean, I know some of what's concerning people, but yeah, no, well, let's do this. Let's make this a quick topic. I'm gonna just see if I can Google it. RFK me. Right. So every conspiracy theory comes up immediately. All right. I'm just looking up to see. So here, let's see. Food and nutrition. I knew he was big on that. Trump has promised that Kennedy's leadership will focus on combating chemicals, pollutants, additives that he claims contribute to chronic disease in the US. I can't argue with that. Um, there are things that we have in our food here that are banned in other countries. Don't ask me specifically what they are, but I know that to be the case. Dietary recommendations. Okay. Ending the chronic disease epidemic. I think this is a very general article that I'm reading. FDA policies, alternative health treatments, vaccination policies. Right. So this is another thing that I was aware of, that he's a vaccine skeptic, which I don't agree with, but his claim is that no vaccine is entirely safe and effective, and linking vaccines to autism, a claim disproven, which, yes, it was disproven. He suggests reviewing vaccine safety and informing the public more comprehensively. He assured that those who want to be vaccinated will still be able to do so, stating that his stance is you ought to know the safety profile. And okay, I can't disagree with that. Um, Fluoride in drinking water. Kennedy opposes adding fluoride, arguing that it's unnecessary and ineffective to deliver the mineral now available in toothpaste. High fluoride may harm a child's IQ, although the CDC, there's been a lot of conspiracies about fluoride uh, throughout the years, and I'll probably mess them up, but I believe I heard somewhere along the way that fluoride was it calcifying the pineal gland, and There was more to it than that. I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, I think we might I think we might find out his policies together. I'm intrigued because he wants to get rid of, let's see. I'm intrigued because he wants to get rid of certain dyes and additives. Yeah, do more research on why certain disorders have become prevalent, like diet and metabolic disorders. Well, I can't. I think this has been a long time coming. There are there's so much wrong with our health system, and our food, our nutrition, all of the additives in our food that we eat. Um, Vaccines, there's been a lot of chatter about vaccines for oh, thanks, Tom. There's been a lot of chatter about vaccines for a long time. I mean, since I was young, going back. I'm born in '69. Um, the whole autism situation. What if we're not members? Well, tonight, it's it started out as a members only live, and what I was talking about when I first got on and nobody was with me because I'm not sure what happened, so I need to figure it out. But what I was talking about, the reason I made the live members only initially is because I had tried to do regular lives in the past, and it was just a lot of pressure because it's just me running this channel. So I thought, okay, if I cut it down to members only, it takes some of the heat off of me and the pressure, and gives me a little more breathing room if I do a members only monthly live. So that was the intention, and that's why I did it. Did it work out so well tonight? No. I don't know. I have to go check my YouTube settings because I did everything I normally do, but when it came time to go live, I used StreamYard and it looked like it was live in StreamYard, but when I popped over to YouTube, it kept saying that something went wrong and there was an issue. So I don't know if, I mean, usually there's a a minimum amount of subscribers that you have to have in order to go live or watch time. It's been a long time since I looked at it. So I wasn't sure if maybe something like that because I have a few members, but not certainly not the same amount of regular subscribers that I have. So don't know if that played into it. It shouldn't. Um, but I have to find out. So anyway, that's what I was talking about when I first came on. It was just a way for me to still connect with everybody and at the same time make it more manageable for me to try and get back on a regular schedule. All right. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. So, obviously this didn't work so well tonight, but I'm glad you're here. Touch tablet. Okay, so let's see. Also hold pharmaceutical companies more accountable if somehow it causes a bunch of people. Yeah, I feel like RFK is trying to approach health issues. Right. So that's also part of the reason why, when I vote, I look at the things that are important to me. One would think that the health issues were, but if this current administration got elected, then I kind of wasn't worried because I feel like they have everyone's best interest at heart. I mean, is every politician going to be spot on? No, there's going to be some people that don't like their policy, whatever. But the general theme of RFK and Trump, I felt, was going to uncover a lot of the stuff that our health system has been getting away with for a hell of a lot longer than the last 10 years. So I wasn't really, that's not something that I paid a lot of attention to, like, versus some of the other policies and stuff that they were running on. That's why I don't know a ton about his policies. All right. Fluoride is never meant to be swallowed. It's a byproduct of fertilizer manufacturing. It is a topical for the teeth, not for the gut, for the rest of the body. Yeah, I mean, yep, there I think what is it, Tom's toothpaste or something? There are toothpastes out there that don't contain fluoride. And I know when I was working with a lot of MS patients, that was a concern. That was one of the things that they were told by a handful of doctors, switch to fluoride-free toothpaste and things like that. I still use fluoride in my toothpaste, even though I'm probably the least nursiest nurse you'll run into. Um, yeah, I got 2 COVID vaccines, but I will never get another one ever. I'm still waiting to grow horns and a tail from the 2 that I did receive. I just don't trust it. So if RFK is coming in and he's gonna to look at that, I mean, I work in the pharma industry and I know their marketing. I know what we're taught when they launch a new product. I was with many products during launch. Repatha, which is for high cholesterol. I worked with beta seron for MS for many, many years and saw a million other drugs come to market. Gilenya, um, Aubagio. There's a million others. One, what the heck is it? Tecfidera, I think there was. And I see what's in the PI. I know what we're taught that we can say, and we have to stay within in those guidelines. Everything else that we say has to be labeled anecdotal. You know, the pharma companies in the U.S. Are problematic. I tend to believe that in the general theme of health in this country is that people make money off of keeping people sick. I truly believe that. So that is why on Lucid Med, I will not, you'll never catch me saying, take this drug or take that drug. I'll talk about if they're included into, treatment tiers that they will be prescribed. But I myself will never say, you need to take gabapentin or you need to take this or this new drug or Ozempic, whatever, because I believe that we are just on a runaway train when it comes to pharmaceuticals in this country. Also, the fact that they can advertise direct to consumers. I have a major issue with that. Anybody else? I want to kind of hear from you guys. I feel like I'm flapping my gums a lot. I mean, I have a problem with the direct to consumer marketing that pharmaceutical companies do. I believe we're the only country that allows that to happen. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that's the case. This is why you have people walking into doctors' offices. Now, it's a double-edged sword. I think it's good in a way because it it helps people know what their options are, but at the same time, you're presenting information to most people that don't have a good understanding of, what an MAOI is or what a disease modifying agent is or how it works with the immune system. All they see is, you know, a happy couple walking on a beach and the name of the drug flashes and it talks about maybe the condition that they have or they think they might have. And the next thing that's happening is they're walking into their doctor's office saying, I want this drug. And I can't blame them, but other problem, the other side of this is that a lot of doctors will be like, all right, yeah, I can give it to you. Not all, but some will not do their due diligence. Depends on what the drug is. And they're sent home with a prescription. This was also happening with antibiotics. Everybody going in saying, I need an antibiotic. I demand an antibiotic. I need this. And they don't realize that antibiotics over time can be harmful. They can cause neuropathy like fluoroquinolones. Huge problem. The state of Montana is considering a bill. State of Montana, hi Donna, is considering a bill to outlaw all mRNA vaccine. Is that the answer? Because I'm going to play devil's advocate. Are we going to swing too far in the other direction? Because I believe in vaccines. Um, I don't believe in mandatory vaccination. You know, when you're looking at herd immunity and individual immunity, um, it's my daughter. It's difficult because back in my day, most kids were vaccinated, and then the parents that didn't vaccinate their kid, they were ostracized. Not vaccinating their kid, and even today, I think it's a little more accepted today because of what went on with COVID, but I don't think one or the other is the answer. I think vaccines. I understand how vaccines work. I think they have a place. I just have a huge problem with the fact that it was a mandatory vaccine. Um, and there's a lot of dark corners to the COVID vaccine that I don't even want to get into. Um, all right, so let's see. I have a major issue. Many people do not understand the drugs and the side effects. What I have seen is lazy doctors will give them that drug, and it has been downhill. Yes. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen with any drug. The medication that is available today, it the FDA is constantly looking at, all right, so let's put it this way. You have drug A, and they tested it, all of the research done on it, extensive research. If it's done correctly, it takes years. And I talked about this in one of my videos, but I mean, getting a new drug to market, the steps and the hoops that it is just exhausting, and it is extraordinarily hard to do that. Costs a lot of money. But there's a there's a good reason for that, which is we need human data. We can't just test it on animals and launch this. So, after drug A is launched, then they will continue. The pharma company wants to make money. They'll claim they want to help people and that patients are their number one priority, which is bullshit. Obviously, I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know, but they will continue to test that drug for other um, conditions, like Rituxan is a perfect example that got launched for B cell mediated issues, leukemias, things like that. But then they continue to test it, and then you'll see they'll add conditions after many years. And it's always a for anybody working for those drug companies, it's always, oh my gosh, we just got another approval for so and so for use in this condition. And that's what happened with Rituxan. Now it's not only used for B cell mediated conditions and leukemia and things like that, but it just got an approval for something else. I can't remember exactly what it was, but um, so all of that goes on. And if they're advertising it, like the chemo drugs you see advertised on TV and online, sometimes I'm sitting there and I get so aggravated because it's one after it's never just one. It's always like 15 different commercials talking about if you have HER2 negative breast cancer. And I'm like, just like, I'm glad that this is now available to that. But I mean, that's speaking to a very, very small number of people. And then they go in and they talk to their doctor about it, and maybe they do get prescribed for it. But uh, I could talk about the whole pharmaceutical industry and the advertising forever. I have such a problem with it. A lot of people, this was happening with antidepressants a lot many years ago. When Effexor, I'll never forget when Effexor first came out. Everybody that had ever heard of an antidepressant saw it advertised on TV, went into their doctor, and demanded a prescription for it. It's almost like subliminal messaging or I, hypnosis. I don't know, but these commercials, they plant seeds. Somebody sees a commercial for an antidepressant, and they start thinking about it. Am I depressed? Maybe I'm depressed. And then what's the first thing that happens? Oh, I saw that commercial about, Effexor or whatever. Maybe I'll go in and I'll talk to my doctor about that. And there are so many ways that they get in there. And I think many doctors are so used to, depending on what the drug is, of course, they're so used to people walking in going, I saw this on TV and, I think I have it. Maybe the doctor will do some testing, but, you know, and don't even get me started also with pain medication. I mean, that is a whole other issue. They were getting incentivized to write those scripts, which of course kicked off the whole opioid epidemic. Unfortunately, you need. Let's see. I think my doc hit up chat. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly would not be surprised. Chat GPT. I'll admit, for my videos. Um, I'll pick a topic, and normally now the first thing I do is I'll tell ChatGPT, I'm doing a video on this topic. Please write me an outline. It helps me to organize my thoughts. Um, but I mean, I do my own research with it. But where do you draw the line with ChatGPT? Because I have had conversations with it, saying I have a patient with these symptoms. Give me one primary diagnosis and three differentials based on the symptoms that I've input. I wouldn't be surprised. Lucid had the absolute best. Aw, thank you, Tom. Thank you. That's because I've worked with PN for so long, and then when I got it, you know, I I just dove in both feet first. Sometimes the side effects are worse than the actual issues with the drug. Is supposed to treat, then prescribes, and yeah, you got it. It is a slippery slope. I mean, do you remember what was that weight loss drug? I think it's still available actually, because I remember, I think I was recently just in CVS and I think it was called Ally. I can see the box. It's got like green or blue lettering, but they had launched this and it was one of the side effects was like anal leakage. I'm sure everybody remembers that by now because it's become a meme and a gif like a million times. But yeah, I'll listen to some of these chemo um, commercials, and when they're listing the potential side effects, there are potential serious side effects for this. You can get this, you can get spontaneous pneumothorax, you can get this, you can get this, and death. And it's like, then they slip right out there into the next thing. And I'm like, does anybody think that this is absolutely nuts? Like, nuts. Yes, ally. Yeah, ally. Right. I have a feeling my daughter is going to be walking in, so maybe she'll say hi. Um, yeah, I a huge problem with that. All right, so I'm gonna hop back and look and see if I can find more about RFK. I really should know that. I really should. But I just kind of figured, at this point we can't get any worse with our health system. Um, I don't believe that they are people who have been established on treatment. I did not get the feeling that they were going to then make people stop. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know enough about it. But I think the more narrow-minded concern that people had was that if he got in, he was with a swipe of his pen, he was just going to say, "Nope, you can't get any more medication anymore. I don't believe in it." That was the very general black and white, I think, mania that people were believing. Was this a result of you know the right side trying to squash? Who knows? It is all such just a major web of shit. Like it really just it's hard to piece apart, but I did not get the sense that he was going to go in and just wipe the table with anybody who I didn't get that sense. Um, let's see if I can find some more here. So this is according to Fox 5 Chicago. It would have billions of dollars in medical research given to universities and cancer being used to develop treatments for, okay, Alzheimer's. Kennedy, too, has called for a staffing overhaul at the NIH, FDA, CDC. Okay. Last year, he promised to fire 600. Oh, well, what does everybody think about all of the closing of doors going on lately? Quite honestly, that's a whole other conversation, but all right. Kennedy made more than 850,000 last year from arrangements referring clients to a law firm that has sued the makers of Gardasil, which is a human papillomavirus vaccine that prevents See, I don't know what's true and what's sensationalism. I mean, if that's true, show me a politician who is not making money from something in some way or another. Let's see. Agriculture. Okay, so far I'm seeing, I believe so according to him, this is a quote according to them. I believe that vaccines play a critical role in healthcare, Kennedy told the Senate Finance Committee. Okay. Okay. Agriculture. Kennedy had previously promised a ban on corn syrup or pesticides. If confirmed, Kennedy would oversee the FDA, which has the power to enact those restrictions. Kennedy indicated before the election that he would be keen to end the Food and Drug Administration's aggressive suppression of raw milk. The FDA and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have called raw milk one of the riskiest foods people can consume because I tend to agree. One of Kennedy's portfolio. All right, so processed foods. Again, we can only go up from the processed foods here because mm, the food that we have here in this country, if it's in a package, it's not even food. It's chemicals. One of Kennedy's proposals has been to remove some chemicals from processed foods, certain food additives, and crack down on ultra processed foods that are tied to obesity and diabetes rates. Yeah, okay. Fixing our food supply. Okay. I mean, no problem with that. I'm not going to get into the whole abortion argument. I believe they're passing that down to the individual states. Fluoride, here we go. Kennedy said he would recommend water agencies stop adding fluoride to drinking water, although fluoride levels are mandated by state and local governments. Fluoride reverses early decay. Okay. Making school lunches healthier. Show me a politician and I'll show that exact point that they've run on again since I was little. Making school lunches healthier. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting. Definitely interesting. All right. So, I mean, any other topics that we want to touch on? I'm trying to think of a couple. So, uh, this coming video, the next video that I'm uploading is going to be on restless leg syndrome. Anybody have any experience with that? I do, but I'd be curious to hear if anybody else does. Any new PN cures? Um, Not that I can really push. Not that I mean the natural ones that I've been talking about, castor oil has been huge, but specifically drug-wise, not that I know of, not that I'm aware of. I know that they did just recently approve a some type of opioid, but it's let me see if I can find it, which obviously is not going to be right for everyone. Yeah, Brixadi. Oh, recently approved Brixadi, which is buprenorphine, which is Suboxone, I think, and Jornavax to treat opioid use disorder. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay. Trying to eliminate. Here, is this it? I do plan on after the restless leg syndrome video, I probably the video after that, I'm planning on doing an update for neuropathy treatments for 2025, and we'll dive into that information that you're looking for more so. Um, what I find usually with neuropathy is it's usually some variation of what's already out there, like Neurontin, gabapentin, Lyrica, Cymbalta, Celebrex, Celexa. They're all different variations. Let's see here. Some type of immunosuppressants. So I have a website that being in pharma I have access to, and I typically use that to keep an eye out for emerging treatments that, I think might be beneficial and helpful. And what I'm seeing here right now, I definitely need to take a better look at. But most of them have ib or ab at the end of them, which tells me that they're kind of in the same line as rituximab, um, those types of immunosuppressive drugs, targeting specific parts of the immune system. It looks like there might also be a new IG type as well. Let's see, which again, it's just different shades of the same horse. Maybe it does something somewhat different. Um, I will say though, now I just thought of this. Let me find the article and I'll see if I can find it online to share it on my screen. Well, don't have all my messages on my new phone, which is scary. Okay. Okay. So I'm sure you've all heard of Vivgart, right? Let me see if I can find the article. So Vivgart has been making a huge, uh, putting a huge dent in the market as far as management of myasthenia, um, CIDP. But let me see. Let's see. Okay. So you guys hopefully can see this now. Um, yeah. So this is what I found today, as a matter of fact. Many of my patients were either switched off of IVIG for Vyvgart, and or they were not given the option of IVIG and they were just told they should go on Vyvgart. But they're finding that it's Vyvgart is not as effective as IVIG. So I found that very interesting because while IVIG is really expensive, nobody's gonna say it's not. Vyvgart is, I think even more so. But it's not as effective, it looks like. There's still more studying going on, but let's see. In patients with CIDP transitioning from stable treatment with IVIG to FcRn inhibiting therapy, such as Vyvgart, Argenx, could lead to severe worsening of disease, necessitating further research to understand. Okay. A series of patients with CIDP treated at the investigator's clinical practices. If anybody's interested, I will put this in the link to the article in the description of the live when we're done, or you can just look it up on your own. You should be able to find it, but this is it. So, all right, all right. Let's see. Sterile, red light. Yep. Okay. Any appearing? No RLS. Not RLS, but noticing my legs, calf, hamstring, quad, and my inner thigh randomly move and twitch. Yeah, I know you were saying that. Um, and to me, like that is just reminiscent of MS. Those shooting pains that you're talking about and the fasciculations that you're having. That's the first thing that came to mind, but it doesn't, your testing isn't lining up with that. Like I said a million times, I don't know how many different ways I can say, that sounds like that to me, but your testing is just not, that's not making the argument for MS. Okay. It bothers me if I sit longer than an hour at a time late at night, pins and needles so bad, so I walk more through day. Okay. Yeah. What I'm talking about with restless legs is different. Anybody sitting for an hour at a time, you're going to get some pins and needles depending on the position you're in and how long you've been sitting. I've been sitting at a desk since 8 o'clock this morning, and that's why I keep the bucket of marbles underneath my desk and kind of do my stretches that I did that video on, because I will sit here all day long, um, and not think twice about it. And it's really just bad for you. But the restless legs, so what my experience was with restless legs, and what a lot of people will say, it seems like you'll go through your day, you'll be exhausted, you'll, just want to sit down and relax, and you're tired, and you'll sit in front of the TV or, you know, get into bed. And it, as soon as I would shut my eyes, I would have, I can't even, it's so hard to describe, but it would feel like somebody plugged me in and I had waves of electricity coursing through me. But it's not like you, Kayla, with the shooting pains. it more felt like I was if somebody shut the lights out, I would be illuminated in some way. That's how I felt. I felt like I had been plugged in, and I would get this just horrible it's a lot of people will describe it like ants crawling on them. I can't even say it was that. It was just I would constantly sit there and I wanted to tense my legs up, or I would find myself in the middle of the night having a hard time going to sleep and doing bicycle exercises just into the air while I'm laying in bed because it felt like unless my legs were moving, I that horrible sensation was going on. And that's how a lot of people describe it, not all, but a lot. Um, I don't know, but could pins and needles be posture related? Yeah, I agree. I mean, it sounds very elementary to say that, but it depends on a lot. I'm sitting on chairs that are my grandmother's. I don't know if you can see them. Um, these are my grandmother's chairs. The table I'm sitting at is probably 150 years old, and they have no cushion, very little cushion. And those cushions are covered with the same plastic that I was sitting on that she put over them when I was little. So these chairs are hard and they, right on my sit bones and my butt. And I will get numb feet if I'm sitting at them for too long. So yeah, I don't know. I will try and see. Thank you, Tanya. Yeah. All right. Just pins and needles in foot, legs. Yeah, from calf down to foot. I get that sometimes too, walking it. Yep, but everyone is different. Yeah. Yeah, I I find that if you can pump your feet, if you're sitting at a desk all day, even simply just pumping your feet back and forth, it's so easy to sit at a desk or a computer or even TV on a couch reading whatever and not move at all. Nobody really thinks about this, but I notice it because when I started sitting in these chairs, it would be hours and I would be like, wow, when is the last time I got up to move? Another thing that I get concerned about is DVTs, deep vein thrombosis. Like when you're sitting as long as, you know, I do or some people do, that's my main concern, especially with diabetes and the thicker I'm thinking of a specific word. It's not, I guess it's hypercoagulability of the blood. So it sounds like an easy solution. Just move your legs and feet around. It sounds very simple, but you'd be surprised how easy it is not to do that. And I can, so yeah. So with the restless legs, though, I find that no matter how active you are during the day, um, it doesn't matter. Like I said, you could be, pretty active, normal, and no matter what, you'll sit down and think, I've been active today, I exercised, I went to the gym, whatever. You've earned your spot on the couch relaxing or in bed, you just want to go to sleep. And as soon as you close your eyes, it starts. And um, there might be some link to, I think vitamin D is what I saw, but I'm still doing the research. Why am I not getting text messages on my phone yet? New technology. Any other topics? So, okay, so let's list what we've talked about so far. The next topic that I'm doing is restless leg syndrome. Yes, Tom, I am going to be doing um, another video summarizing anything new that's come out for peripheral neuropathy. Although, off the top of my head, I have to really kind of weed through um, if there are any actual new drugs for it targeting something different or some different understanding of it, because to my knowledge, that's not the case. If it's some variation of a drug that's already on the market, again, gabapentin, Neurontin, I'm not exactly interested. I mean, it's to me, it's just another drug that the pharma company is going to jack up the price for, and it's going to do the same thing as older drugs that are on the market. I don't know. I have to see. Um, so that was that, and then I'll go over some of the other topics that I'm um, also working on, and you can tell me what you think. On that. It's my heat, my creaky heat. So I was actually going to start a GI series too, talking about Crohn's disease, diverticulitis. Um, so I'm still playing around with that because one of my good friends is a nutritionist and works a lot with inflammation and Crohn's disease and things like that. So I that'll probably happen more towards April, but I'm very interested in general anti-inflammatory diets because we can talk all day long about turmeric, ginger, all of the, garlic, all of the nutritional supplements that are out there already, but I I kind of want a little more concise information about inflammation and how to combat it through diet. I'm also planning on talking about lion's mane and all of those types of remedies. A lot of people swear. Does anybody have any um, experience with lion's mane or magic mushrooms or anything like that? Mhm. Hey there. Let's see. Thanks for being available for live stream. Like the makeup. Thanks for all you do being East Coast. We'll be calling it a night. Good night, Tom. I'm glad you got to join us, and we'll be doing another one. Uh, what's today? Today's the 13th. So maybe I'll do one on my birthday. My birthday's March 11th, so maybe I'll celebrate with all of you guys. All right, could you possibly do one on how the weather may affect how the different temps, pressures, and humidity levels may affect our symptoms? Huh, I think that's really interesting. Hmm, that's actually a really good idea. I don't know if I would have enough to do just the weather, but I might combine that with maybe diet and weather, and I'd have to think about that, but that's a great idea. Time is it? All right, so let's see. Did that, did that. So the other thing that I haven't really shared with anybody is I am starting a second channel, but it's in Spanish. So all of my current videos will be dubbed into Spanish. But I shouldn't need to start a whole second channel, and I didn't want to because it's just that much more oversight. But there is an option on YouTube for some creators, not all, but for some, that you can upload a separate track of the voice part of the video and dub that and upload that into multiple different languages. Ironically, interestingly, Hindi is the second most, biggest group that watches my videos. It's Spanish is like 0.1% of my audience. Hindi is, I think I forget, but it's right below, English speaking people. But so, yes, I'm working on that. And then I'm going to do a more medically geared channel, which is going to be faceless. It's just going to be my voice on it, but it's nursing school insider. So it's going to talk about more of the meat and potatoes of medical school, not as much medical school, but nursing school. And so that's what's in the hopper. Hopefully, I'm not biting off more than I can chew. Um, but anyway, it's getting late. I'm gonna call it a night, I think, guys, too, even though I didn't get on when I wanted to initially, but I will try and schedule the next live a lot sooner than I did. It's only been a few days that I advertised it, but I'm going to try and keep it the same time every month. So if we do the next one on March 11th, then I'll just try and keep it, or maybe I'll make it on the 15th. I have to look. But for now, um, so appreciate everybody who joined me. I love talking to you guys live, and I will see you in a month.